We had Pels versus Lakers and the refs. What a game this should've, could've, would've been. First things first, if Zion doesn't get hurt, I truly believe that the Pelicans come away with this game. He was doing it all for the Pelicans. He was the singular most important player on that team. Now, don't get me wrong, Alvarado was a huge part of their comeback. His energy, everything that he brought to the team, the threes that he was hitting, he was super important to the Pelicans' comeback. But Zion is the driving force. And when he went down, there were a lot of miscues that the Pelicans had that you expect with a young team, but I really think that they needed Zion to be there to sort of right the ship. Now, outside of that, this was a pretty entertaining game, which I'm always here for, no matter the outcome. As long as I get entertained, I was kind of hoping that this thing would get pushed into overtime, but that didn't end up being the case. And then also with Zion not being there, I'm not sure that the Pels would have had enough to deal with the Lakers in overtime anyway. AD and Braun didn't really shoot particularly well. Their stat line looks nice at the end of the game. They didn't necessarily shoot particularly well throughout the night as a whole. Now, coming down the stretch, these foul calls that the refs were calling were some of the least fouls that I've seen in a while. And I've always been a huge proponent of the fact that the Lakers being aggressive means that they get more foul calls. It's just the way their game is. They're an inside-out type of team. They pound the paint hard. They live in the paint. They're going to get more foul calls than most teams. It's just the way they play. When you have a team like the Pelicans who are playing a very inside-out type of game, similar to the way the Lakers were, I find it hard to believe that the free throw disparity should be that large. For the gap to be this large and both teams playing a similar style of basketball, I don't really get it. Last year, people complained about it in the Warriors series, but the Warriors, they're a team that spaces the floor a lot and they rely heavily on outside shots. A lot of movement, a lot less pounding the paint, so I can understand the free throw disparity there. In this game, there isn't much to say why the Lakers would have much more free throws than the Pelicans. But if you're going to call the game ticky-tack the whole way through, then both teams need to get that benefit. If you're going to swallow the whistle the whole way through, both teams need to get that benefit. If you're a reffing crew and you're officiating a game, if you're officiating it one way or another, both teams should feel the effects of that. When they go into the game, they should feel, okay, the refs are calling this a bit tight, so we might not want to be as aggressive on defense. Or if they say, hey, the refs are calling this a little bit loose, maybe we could be a little bit more aggressive. But when you have it going one way for one team and another way for another, the teams don't know how to game plan for that, and it sort of messes things up. Also, I'm confused as to why the Pelicans didn't challenge anything down the stretch. I mean anything. You could pick a myriad of calls that were questionable. Any call, pretty much with 5 minutes left in the game, was super sus and questionable. I don't care, man. Challenge anything. Challenge something. You have it. It's there for a reason. Like they were saving it for the game against the Kings. I don't know. I don't understand. But as it stands now, the Lakers move on to get swept by the Nuggets, and the Pels move on to play the Kings in another, what hopes to be a good playing game. I don't know the status of Zion's injury.
Hey everybody, future me checking in here. Yeah, so as I was editing this video, I got the news, like mid-edit, that Zion won't be playing against the Kings on Friday. So I didn't know that at the time when I was recording. So keep in mind that everything that I say here is not with the knowledge of knowing that he's going to be out. All right, back to the show. Thanks.
I hope he's okay. I would hate to see their season end because he can't go. I don't want him to rush out there and risk his future playing time just to try to secure a play-in team where they're going to play against an OKC team who's loaded. And trying to get out of that series alive would be a task in and of itself. So if he's good and the doctors give him the clear and the go-ahead, then absolutely. But if it's questionable, if I'm the Pelicans, I'm not risking it. He has an injury history already, and you don't want to put anything more on him than has to be. It sucks for this season, but Pelicans as a team are still relatively young, so they can try to figure things out in the future instead of risking their future star for one playing game to go into a series that they would be heavily unfavored in. Anyway, that's my thoughts on this game. What do you guys think? Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you feel so inclined, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.